Hello. So you've just watched me, or you may have just watched me, fill this little mini junk journal. This is a Beatrix Potter stitched front junk journal with some embroidered flowers on there. We've done all sorts of bits and pieces, lots and lots of original antique vintage ephemera in there, some handmade pieces too, as well as some reproductions. On this particular page, which is just the back of a very plain printed page, we've put this little pocket, which is like a library card sort of pocket, I think, but it's very plain and boring, so we said we were going to decoupage over the top of it. Now, if anybody knows, doesn't know what decoupage is, basically I'm going to be getting a napkin. I've got a little selection of them here, choosing a napkin with a nice image, and we're going to be brushing it over the top with some a different medium. I do have a huge clearance box still, I believe, of napkins on my clearance section of my Etsy shop, if anybody's into this. A huge box full. Please take a look, because I'm so sick of these boxes in my little room. Now, if you are going to be decoupaging and using just one image of a napkin or of whatever, and you want it to blend in with this, you need the background the same as your background. If I were to use one of these green ones and just sort of have this little section, the green and the white, you're going to see the difference. So you either want to take a coloured one and cover the entire thing, or you want to take a white one and just choose a certain image. I think I'm just going to choose an image of one of these white ones. I like these. So let's shove all these back in my little stash here. I kept a handful of them, but there's tons of the bloody things. I don't make journal kits anymore, I just make individual journals, so you'll find that there's a lot more goes into my journals now, because I don't have to keep stuff to one side for kits, so lucky for you. Right, we need to split the layers of the napkins. They're sometimes 2 and 3 ply, so easiest way to do it, get a little bit of sellotape or masking tape and just tear. Now this takes off, once you've made a hole in it, that'll take off one layer of the napkin. There will probably be another, so we'll find out. She says, there it is. So you can pull away, and then you're left with a very thinnest layer of the first layer of the napkin with the printed image on, and that's the bit we're going to work with. Now I want, because I've got purples on the front of my book, I want to stick with a bit of purple, and I think I like that just to sort of go on the edge, and then I might get something up here. So little hint, if you want to just tear out a certain piece, you don't want to just rip the whole thing or cut it. Cutting it will mean that when you glue this to your chosen piece, you'll have very sharp edges and it might be more noticeable. If you get a water pen or just a little bit of water on a paintbrush and just very gently sort of almost paint around it, you'll find that you'll get a lot of a softer edge on your chosen bit of napkin. You can get right in the crevices. You can get fairly close to your image. You don't want to get too close, because obviously the water is going to spread a little bit. And then once you've done it, you can just tear your image very, very easily away from the napkin, and that will give you a lot of a softer look. I don't like that sharp edge there. I don't think it'll show up. I'm just going to try and pull away some of that at the top. So I'm going to have that there, I think. I might have a little bee on as well, because there's a bee on the front. So I think I'm just going to take that little bee there and very carefully do that. So I'm going to, and obviously you don't chuck your napkin, you save it, because there's all the other images on there you can use. So I'm going to shove that back in my little stash. I'm going to take a little bit more off this bee, I think. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I've wet around it, and I'm just going to simply pull, and that will pull away. And I think we're going to have that like that on the other side. So there are various things you can use to do the actual collaging, decoupaging bit. PVA glue or PVA mixed with a bit of water is good. Mod Podge is another one that's a good one to use. Tim Holtz does some fabulous collage mediums. So this is a crazy, like a crazing, sort of crackly glaze, distress collage medium. This is a vintage collage medium, so it'll give you like a vintage sheen over the top, if you could see that one. And that was the first one. And then this one is just plain old distress collage medium, which is matte. So I'd usually use either of those. I'm going to go with the Tim Holtzy one. I've had it a long time, just hoping it's it's still all right. I'm sure it is. This is quite a stiff brush, so let's see how we go. I'm going to start with the B, I think. I'm just going to pop him right at the top. So you literally just go over the top, and it will just soak through the napkin. Try not to pull inwards on your image. Start at the centre and sort of go outwards, because you're sort of spreading the napkin out. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I can't work out how to pull my camera any nearer without killing the setup of it. So I hope you can, oh, I can zoom, idiot. Right, there we are, we've zoomed. So I'm sort of just pulling outwards from the image. To squeeze out any little air bubbles. And if it goes over the edge, leave it to dry, and what you will do is take a little nail file and it'll just dust off. But you can see that's fairly seamless onto the little envelope. So we're going to pop this one on as well, I think, like that. So just start there. And again, I'm going to sort of work outwards from the image. I'm not pulling in because I don't want to crease and ruffle the image. I'm working outwards. I've got into doing mixed media a lot more. I did it quite heavily at one point, and then it was just sort of quite, the kits took over. And whilst I'm incredibly grateful for anybody that ever bought a journal kit from me with the blank bases or the blank made journals, and then the ephemera and stuff to create with, but they just sort of took over, and you didn't get left a lot of time for creating yourself. Not creating yourself, but for you to create. So it sort of kind of took the joy out of it a little bit. Right, I'm going to leave that at that. That's quite cute. I might actually stick another flower on. When I'm looking, I don't like this. So I think I'm going to find another flower on there. So let's just shove this to the side. Now I've got yellow on the thing as well, so I could use some yellow. I wonder if I could have that sort of peeking in, maybe. Or does it look like it's going in the wrong direction? That purpley one, do you think? Or, see, that's cut off. I think what I'm going to do is have this yellow one here. I don't know if you can see that. My water pen back. Yeah, I miss doing all the mixed media stuff. Oh, hang on, there's a better one up there. I'm going to use this one. That's going to just poke in at the bottom. But yeah, as I say, because you got to where the kits just sort of took over, I'd make as many as I could in advance, but then see, that was too much water. Did you see how that spread really easily then? Can you see that? I don't know if you did see that. The water just really spread because I put too much and I over twisted. But yeah, I couldn't keep up with the demand for the kits, so they were sort of being made to order. So they were taking a little bit longer to get out because obviously everything was hand cut, all of the images. So I'd be printing out, hang on, especially for like the grab bags or the £25 kits. I'd be printing out sheets like this and hand cutting each one out and making it look decent, and you know, any distressing that I needed to do, any sort of pre-scoring and folding on the envelopes, and it just took a long time, and then it just left no time for anything else, and it became, yeah, more of a chore. And with the best will in the world, by the time you've paid your Etsy fees and what have you, I wasn't exactly making enough to retire on. So yeah, just didn't seem worth it in the end. And now I like doing the the more mixed media stuff, so I get to do more of this, which I think is fun. I might be alone in that, but I think it's fun. I enjoy doing it all. And it means I get to do more individual journals as well. And obviously the embroidery seems to have taken over massively recently with me. I love doing the sewing and the embroidery and the 3D work, and you know, I'm self-taught. I feel like I'm getting better at it. I'm doing it more and more often, and improving. And I'm like, I think I showed this in the last video, but this one is one that I've just finished quite recently with my first go at stunt work, and I'm so proud of it. So I did sort of the acrylic background, I did this at the front, these pieces then were attached, and yeah, just really enjoyable project. So yeah, right, I'm just going to dry this off rather than us waiting, and then I'm going to show you how we'll get rid of those little extra bits on the side. So I'll be back. All right, so this is fairly dry. This is about the best nail file that I can grab, but basically, I don't know if this side's going to be too coarse. You need this bone dry if you can. This is pretty much there, so let's hope this works. So take a nail file, try not to make it too coarse, but if the softer side doesn't work, where am I? Have a go with the coarser side. But basically, you just want to file at the edges, and that will just peel away. It should. There we are. Try this side. I don't know if this is dead, this nail file, but can you see how it just sort of, if it was properly dry, creates that tear, and just means you can break them off. Oh, I've got no decent nail files left. See if I've got another one. Hang on. I had loads, and now I can't find them. No, I think we're going to have to persevere with this one. Don't go mad because you don't want to tear the side of your envelope or whatever you're working on. It just gives a bit of a neater edge than if you were to snip at it, and if you were to tear at it, you might find that it peels back. But we're just going to do what we can do. Definitely need some new nail files. It's probably because I haven't done this for such a long time. And I think that is more that's come off than anything else. Oh gosh. Right, well, I'm going to do exactly what I just said not to do, and I'm just going to tear it. Right, there we are. It's that little bit as well. It's really annoying. But if you use a decent nail file and just take your time with it, it will come off quite nicely. And now I've got little bits of emery board everywhere. Okay, so let's bring this back and pop it in. So we were right at this back spot here. So it does have an adhesive back on, you see, which is not bad. So I'm going to just put a little dollop of glue on just for a bit of extra, because I don't want anything falling out. And then shove that in. And then what we've got is a nice little pocket. Pretty. So I'll be putting some more ephemera in that. There are a few other sneaky bits and pieces that I'm going to be putting in as well that I don't want to be on camera, so they're a bit more of a surprise for the eventual recipient. But that's that one. I'm going to get some sari silk and wrap these as well, so you've got a bit of a closure on there as well. The sewing in of the signatures is going to be different on the other two. I'm not going to glue here. I think I'm going to go I'm going to cover these instead of, start that again. Instead of sewing the signature to some fabric and then gluing the fabric in so the spine is left clear. I'm just going to stitch them straight into the spine because I don't like the finish of it. I think that this one is fine now that we've rectified it, but I think it would be better if we did it the other way. So please don't think this one is subpar because there's lots of bits and pieces in it. But yeah, I think a different method of sewing the signatures in would be better with this particular one. So there we are. Thanks for joining me again. Yeah, a couple of videos in quick succession. Not bad, eh? Right, thank you very much. Cheerio, bye-bye.